just design an entire B2B SaaS feature in 6 hours that would take me 3 days. Not because AI did the design for me, but because it handled all the parts that drains your energy without adding a design value. So let me show you exactly how. So who this is for? A product designers working on a complex B2B product, anyone drowning in documentation, research synthesis, or repetitive design tasks, or PMs, designers curious about AI but don't know where it actually fits in their workflow. So what you'll learn today, by the end of this video, you'll see my exact AI assisted design process from research to handoff, the specific prompt I use for like at each stage you can steal them, what AI does well, where it fails, and where you still need a human judgment. So I'm gonna start with a real example from B2B SaaS work, not a generic tutorial. Today I'm designing a bulk action feature for our workflow automation platform. Think an admin needs to update their permission for like 50 users at once, or move 100 tasks between your projects. So it requires a multi-step operations, error handling, progress feedback, undo capability. It's a classic enterprise complexity. So we're going to look at all 5 steps of design process, where we start from the research and discovery to documentation and handoff. And we want to compare step by step how traditional process works and how AI-assisted process works. Here's my research, what my research normally looks like. I've got multiple tabs, multiple browser tabs with competitive research, 3 user interviews transcript, a folder with 15 plus screenshot. Normally I'd spend 2 to 3 hours just reading through all of this, highlighting patterns, copy pasting insights into a document. So by the time I'm done, I'm mentally exhausted before I've designed anything. So here's the 3 files. I'm going to copy my prompt. So here's the prompt look like. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to let it run for a second. Okay, look at this. In a minute, the Claude has grouped all the pain points by the theme, pulled all the mental models. Notice user expected to work like a Gmail. It identified the edge cases I wouldn't have thought to prioritize. I'm gonna upload my comparative screenshots. I've got about like 8 images from different tools. So here's my comparative analysis prompt. I'm gonna copy this prompt and I'm gonna paste it over here. So perfect. Let me hit the comparison metric showing over here. Let it run and here you go. Perfect. Claude just built me a comparison metric showing the checkbox selection is universal. That's a table stake. Out of 2 out of 5 show a progress indicator. Nobody has the clear undo patterns. That's my opportunity where I can use it. And this would be, so if you see the overall process, this wouldn't taken me almost an hour if I do it manually, comparing to the documents. And what AI did, it's just in 5 minutes. It's total. Now I have research synthesis with the pain points grouped by theme, comparative analysis metrics, validated edge cases prioritized by user mention frequency. If I go with the traditional approach, it might take 2 to 3 hours, whereas the AI assisted take only 20 minutes. So in just 20 minutes, I'm ready to design, and let's move to the ideation. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy my prompt from here and I'm gonna put it in a Claude, and I ask Claude to generate like 10 different concepts. And let's see, it's generating. Fast forward. So if you see, it generated a concept. So look at the concept 3. It's tagged confirmation with preview. Shows you exactly that what will change before you commit. And it's really great for safety, but might slow down the power users. So with the concept 3, it's good. The concept 7 is inline preview. Like changes happen in real time as you select the items. Fast, but might be a riskier. So these are the trade-off I can now evaluate instead of just guessing. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use the plugin over here. This plugin, basically, I'm trying to drop it, like drag and drop my document, and it gonna put it on the Figma. So it's basically, I don't have to change screen many times now. I have everything on the same page. Great. Now I have like these 10 documents. I'm gonna select it, 3 concepts from the 10, which really makes sense to me. It also created the comparison matrix. So the concept 3, 7, and 5, I feel that it's sort of aligning with my needs. So the concept 3, if you see, it's best for safety. Concept 7, best for speed. And concept 5 is wizard flow, best for complex error handling. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna now sketch these in a Figma, test it with the user. But if you notice that I'm designing with the validated constraint, which is already mapped out, which is the like a really plus point over here. And whereas like AI assisted work, it only took me 15 minutes of focus curation. Now let's move to our part 3, which is design execution. So here's some of the important clarification I want to make is that AI doesn't design the screen for me. I still in charge to design in Figma manually. But what changes? So I'm designing with validated constraint, which already in mind. I have edge cases mapped before I start. I know which concept to explore versus random trial and error. So this is where my design craft matters most. AI got me here faster, but the design decisions are still mine. I'm going to sketch out of 3 finalists in mid-fidelity. Notice I'm referring back to the edge cases what Claude identified, and I'm designing state variation for partial failure, timeouts, and permission conflicts. All right, 3 concepts I've designed. Now it's time to critique. So I have now the 3 concepts, time to critique. Normally what I do is like I do a self-critique, but I usually, like everyone out there have blind spots. I ask my teammates, but they are in a meetings, ship and hope. I ship it and I hope if it goes well. So that might be a risky. So instead of this, what I do, I use the AI as a structure critique partner. So I'll show you how I'll do that. So I'm going to copy this prompt. So I'm going to upload the screenshots of 3 concepts of what I've designed to Claude. And here's my critique prompt. So in this particular prompt, what I'm doing, I'm just telling in a prompt that I want usability. I just break it down in like accessibility, usability, and audit trails. And I asked to critique based on this. So here you go. Here comes the critique. Now, if you see in this particular critique, this is gold, honestly. Like this providing me enough detail to be look into and validate what I've missed. So if you see, the first concept is like key navigation issue. So 50 plus checkbox means like 50 plus tab stops. Power user will hate it. For the concept 2, no visual feedback. For some items fail, some succeed. User won't know what to retry. And concept, these are the things I legitimately missed. So let's see what AI caught versus what you caught. Okay, each caught different things. That's the point. AI complements my critique. It doesn't replace it. Okay. So if you see, in just 25 minutes, all 3 concepts critique across 4 dimensions. 1 concept refined with specific fixes. I've validated against the enterprise requirement. So if you go with a traditional critique cycle, it took like for you or to any designers 3 hours with self critique, team critique, and revision critique. You still do a team critique, but I feel that if you add the AI assisted critique, it only takes like 25 minutes for me, but it gives me a gold. Now let's move to the part 5, which is the documentation and handoff. So design is done. Now the worst part comes in, where the specs so developers know what to build. So if you go with the traditional approach, manually annotate each screen, it took like 2 hours. Write interaction specifications, 1 hour. Document edge cases, 1 hour, and create a permission matrix, which takes like 30 minutes more. So if you see, almost 4.5 hours of work, which I genuinely hate. What you can do over here is that you can automate your stack overall design handoff. And here's how I've done. So here's my component spec generation prompt. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this particular prompt, and I'm going to put this in a Claude to ask to generate overall specs. So it's generating. So if you look at this, Claude just auto generated the complete component state list, accessibility and annotations with ARI labels, edge cases handling checklist. So that exactly, if you see, what developers need to know. And we have provided everything in a documented form, and it speed up the process overall. Okay, so let's talk about what AI generated well. So the first thing, what AI generated or AI handled perfectly is the component state. It didn't miss any of the states which really needed in the overall project. Second is the accessibility annotations, mostly accurate. Edge case checklist, about like 80% of coverage. But if I still go with if I go with the manual process, what I still write myself, a design rationale, why this approach versus the alternative we explored, the migration plan, how existing user adapt to the new flow, the API requirements, so specific to our backend architecture, and also the stakeholders context, where the business priorities that influence this design. So if you see, this final deliverables is mix of 80% AI generated structure, 20% human context. And that's how you go hands on hand. So it's like complete developer handoff talk right to ship. So go with the traditional process with all these steps: research synthesis, design execution, critique session, documentation overall. So it might take you like 20 plus hours. Whereas adding the AI assistant in your design process, it is like particularly 61% faster, which is like tremendously good. Save a lot of time of yours of doing the repetitive tasks and make you more productive in your design process. Now let's talk about what AI is good at. So here's what AI excel at. I feel that like AI, the pattern recognition across the large data set, which is tremendously good, doing the research synthesis and all, generating the variations at scale, where my ideation can, I can diverge my particular ideation and the brainstorming at the particular that level. We usually take like 4 to 5 designs. Now the one designer can able to do that. The third one, which I see, is the structured analysis, where I've done the edge cases, the critique session, which is really good. And the last one is like templated documentation, like the specification annotations for the developers. That is like really good. Now let's talk about what AI fails at. So AI fails or falls short where I need to take a nuanced design decisions like brand, emotions, delight. But the AI is still left to that. Understanding the business context, where like stakeholder politics, companies' priorities, business objectives, and overall. The third one is the domain expertise, the enterprise workflows, and the industry regulations. So if you're working in like financial industry, it really required like a lot of compliances and regulatories over there. So it's still lacking there. And the creative intuition. And this creative intuition only comes to a human or who's really experienced with having a keen eye to a design. And I think it's really fails over there. So what feels right and what's really logical. So that only comes when the particular like person do that. So I see like there's a bigger mindset, like here's the mindset shift. So AI isn't replacing designers. It's replacing the part of design that actually not a design. Things that not design, like doing the synthesizing your research, generating layout variations, writing the accessibility specifications. And design is choosing which concept serves the user best, balancing your competing constraints, making things feel intuitive and not just functional, and also the advocating for your users when stakeholders push back. So basically what AI has done in the process, like AI accelerate that process, but you still have to make the decisions and do your design manually. That is a craft. So if you want a prompt, what I've used in this particular video, I put down the download link in the description. So if you want to deep dive in like particular phase, comment which part you really want me to expand. And the last one which I really want to say is that building something with AI in your workflow. If you want to share it, I'd love to see what you're working on. So thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.